So if you're anything like me, you probably like herbs. And if you're even more like me, I bet your favorite one is basil. Or at least that's my favorite one. So I figured I'd bring you along to show you how to start some basil. So if you ever wanted to grow some of this yourself in your garden or inside, it'll be very easy. As you can tell, I've gotten a old coffee cup that I used at work. I take these home with me when I'm done with them so I can use them for gardening. And I labeled it because you're not going to remember this in a while. I know I'm not going to remember this in a while. And I've put some holes with a pair of scissors along the end, as well as on the top. I mean, bottom. I should learn English. And I've also filled it up quite a bit, but I left a bit of a gap. And you don't need to leave a whole lot of gap because you're not going to bury this very deep. Maybe quarter inch or about 5 or 6 millimeters. And if you've ever seen basil seeds or any sort of herb seeds, most of them tend to be, let's see if I can get this in the camera for you guys, relatively small. They're not very large seeds. They're generally, most herb seeds are going to be ridiculously small. I can't think of large herb seeds off the top of my head. So I've already got 2 cups ready, so I can start them because these are pretty small cups, and I don't want to over germinate in such a small cup, right? But I'm just gonna see if I can sprinkle them equally around the cup because every single seed might not start. But again, this is a very small cup, so I've only added about 10 or 15 so far, which is probably overdoing it for the size of a cup, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm going to put the rest away for my second cup, because I don't want to over germinate in one single container. And then over here, actually, not ready for that step yet anyways, excuse me. And over here, I've got a wee bit of soil left in this container I used to fill this. Actually, I'm just going to grab the bag and get a small little amount to kind of cover up the seeds I just put in there. Not a very, very thick, layer, just enough to get it in there. Maybe I'll put a wee bit more in there. And as you can tell, I've gotten really light, fluffy type soil here that I've added even a little extra for perlite too, not vermiculite. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore me. And then I'm going to grab the water that I've gotten here from outside of my water barrel. And I'm going to give it a wee bit of a water for now. But only because I also know that the soil is probably going to be a bit hydrophobic right now. So I'm going to give it another little wee bit of water in a second while I start up my second one. And I'm still not going to use all my seeds because that's, again, I don't want to overdo either one of my cups. But that's basically all you really have to keep in mind for, well, basil, but most herbs. They're going to be smaller seeds, so you don't necessarily have to overdo it. Just a small little amount in the top, and then, a small layer of soil on top of that, enough to give it about quarter inch, or as I said, 6 millimeters. Then I'm going to give this one a bit of a water and let it soak in for a second while I water the other one. Yeah, that's basically all you really have to worry about. And as most seeds, it's always good to have a wee bit of warmth in the room you're starting with. So over here, I've got my heater going. So then at least that way, it's getting a little bit of heat in here. So most of this will have a chance at germinating. Now, I'm not going to keep that on 24 hours a day. Doesn't have to be that hot all the time. It's not winter time, but it is still early May. Gets a wee bit chilly, so I figured if I warmed it up to, I don't know, like 20 degrees ish in here and then turned it off, that'll likely be good for that section, anyways. And in the mornings, I might turn it on for about an hour before I go to work and turn it off before I go because I don't like leaving things like that on while I'm at work. But I hope you're all doing well. I hope you learned something here, and I'll keep you in the loop. I'll let you know how this goes and how it, and I'll let you know how it grows. Sorry, I cut off a few seconds early there. Thanks for following along, guys.